and welcome back. This is If I Start to Talk and my name is Awande Zwane. Before I start, I just want to know, have you subscribed? Okay, so just do that real quick. I'll give you some time. Alright, cool. So we can start. God is not scared of your self-doubt. God is not moved by your self-doubt. I remember this one time, I was listening to somebody speaking, and they were speaking about moving mountains. And I'm like, Lord, I trust you. I have faith in you. I believe in you that you can remove any mountain that's in my way. But it's me that I don't trust. Like, I don't trust that I will not stand in my own way. And God immediately was just like, sis, if I can move the biggest hurdles, do you think the hurdle of your self-doubt, the hurdle of your procrastination, the hurdle of your fear, do you think that that mountain is too big for me? So God is just, he's not even the things, the mountain, when you are the mountain in God's way, when you are the mountain in your own way, God can move that too. We are oftentimes our own mountain that needs to be moved, right? Is because when we look at ourselves, we see ourselves in relation or in terms of our shortcomings, our weaknesses, our past failures, and things that we've gotten wrong before, and things that we've failed at before. But the thing about God is, and there's a beautiful scripture in Isaiah 43 that speaks about how He delights in blotting out our sins. He delights in blotting out things of the past for his own sake, right? See, the enemy wants to have you looking back. The enemy wants to have you stuck on the time when you did something and it didn't work. He wants to have you stuck on the time that you did something and it failed. He wants to have you stuck on the time where you sabotaged yourself. But God is looking forward because he has a plan for humanity, and his plan is not in the past, his plan is in the future. So you need to get with the program, and you need to no longer be the stumbling block in your own way. And when you look at the Bible, and you see how God was using ordinary people, right? Because sometimes you will hear that God is giving you a huge revelation. He's revealing something big. He's revealing something maybe even prophetic. He is giving you a task or a duty or an instruction, and you're thinking, I don't know what you heard about me. I don't really know. Like, I don't know if I'm equipped for that, because we know God to be big and to be grand, and we know that his moves are that side. They're big as well. So whenever God gives us these instructions or trusts us with stuff, we're thinking, why don't you go to my friend? She's good at this. Go to my friend. She prays more, right? She reads her Bible. She knows her word more. Go to my friend. She's more diligent. Go to the guy next door. He has more time. Go to the lady next door. She has more money, right? Because we always look at all the people who are doing things right, the people that we aspire to be like, or the people that we just look at and we're like, man, if I could just wake up at 5 a.m. like that person. Right? And we see where we do not measure up to that, right? And we look at ourselves and we box ourselves into that a lot of the times. But God knows what he put in us, right? God knows, he knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows who we are, because he knows he made us. And he is a God of excellence. So he made us to be excellent, and he made us in excellence. And so whatever is in us is laying dormant, and God knows that, and he's trying to pull us out and get us out of that. And I just think, just like I was saying, of all the men and the women in the Bible that God used, who doubted themselves and doubted why God would want them to deliver the Israelites, why God would want them to lead the army that would defeat their enemies, why God would lead them to start the church or whatnot, right? But I even think about Moses especially, I was thinking about it yesterday and I got so touched. When you think about Moses, and when he was born, the Pharaoh had a decree that every single that all the firstborn sons, or the sons born of Israelite women, would be killed. But when Moses' mother saw her son, he was so beautiful, she couldn't bring herself to doing it. So of course we know she put him in a basket and let him float down the river Nile. And because God's timing is so beautiful, at that same time Pharaoh's daughters were at the river taking a bath when the basket that was carrying Moses floated to them, and they saw him. They also just fell so in love with him, and they raised him, right? But Moses always knew he didn't belong there. He always knew he was an Israelite, and he committed a murder. And then because of that shame and wanting to hide away from that crime and from that shame, he went into obscurity, and he lived a quiet life as a shepherd, right? So he fell, right? He went from like in the palace of the Pharaoh to becoming a shepherd, right? And so when the Israelites were praying to God to be released from their bondage, God was speaking to Moses. And when God first spoke to Moses, Moses was like, why are you coming at me for? Moses was like, I don't understand what you want me to do about this, right? Because Moses saw this big plan that God was bringing him knowledge of. Moses knew who he was talking to, right? The creator of heaven and earth, the king of the universe. And he's not understanding why this talking bush is talking to him, because in his own eyes, he only sees himself in terms of his failures. He only sees himself in terms of that fall from the palace to just being a shepherd. He only sees himself as a murderer. He wasn't even accepted by the Israelites, because remember, as much as he was born an Israelite, he was raised by the very same people that were oppressing them. So the very people that he's trying to save don't even accept him. They don't even see him as their own. So this is all that Moses is seeing when God comes to him and says that you're going to help me deliver these people, right? And Moses even thinks of his own speech impediment. He's like, I can't even talk. But God knew what he put in Moses. God knew why he allowed all the things that happened to Moses to happen, because he knew that the day of the burning bush, that he was going to appear to him in the burning bush, and that they were going to start a work, God and Moses partnering to deliver the Israelites. He knew what he put in Moses, and that's why he set the wheels rolling for Moses' life to take the trajectory that it did, because he knew that the goods that he put in Moses, one day God himself, not Moses, not Abby, but God himself would be able to bring it out of Moses for the sake of the Israelites. Just to give you an analogy of what I'm saying, imagine an iPhone in the hands of somebody who isn't very tech savvy, right? They just see a phone and they'll probably use it just to make phone calls and texts. But that very same iPhone in the hands of its creator, Steve Jobs, may he so rest in peace, will be able to do phone calls, texts, and take photos, take videos, edit videos, track footsteps, navigate, create, and so many other things. Why? Because Steve Jobs created that phone. He designed it. He knows what he put in it. He knows the components that make it. He knows how he designed it. He knows what he was trying to achieve, the intention that he had with the phone and its various features. He knows the purpose that he wanted it to serve in the world. And in the very same way, the world has and continues to use us in ways that are not what we are designed for, that are not to the fullness of our potential, right? The people around us might only see us with regards to the little that they know about us. But in the hands of God, in God's leadership, under God's plan, under God's headship, and under his lordship, God is able to use us to be far greater. He is able to use us to the fullest of our potential. He is able to stretch us from what we're doing now, what we think we can do, to what he knows we can do, to what he knows he put in us, to the features, the intention that he gave when he put us on this earth, the intention that he put us here for, the lives and the destinies that he purposed us to touch and to impact. So don't be discouraged. Don't look at what you have now, what you lack now, who you're not now, who's 5 steps ahead of you. Because at that point, you are not walking under the headship. You are not walking under in the hands. You are not being used. You are not in the hands of your Creator. But when you have now you have surrendered to God, and you've given Him permission, you've given Him agreement to use you, He will stretch you to the greatest part of your capabilities. He will immortalize you, just like He did Moses. And so allow yourself to let God be God, because God is bigger than your fears. He's bigger than your failures. He's bigger than your insecurities. He's bigger than the opportunities you missed in the past. He's bigger than your self-sabotage. He's bigger than all of that. So when you allow God to be God, when you do not allow your insecurities and your fears to dictate, and you remember that you have got the authority, that Jesus came down on this earth and He gave you the authority to overcome what the enemy has tried to put a barrier in your mind, to overcome everything that the enemy has tried to lie to you about, to overcome all of the identity lies, the identity crises that the enemy has tried to put you in, that you have overcome that. You've got the authority. You need to tell the enemy to come under your foot. That's where he belongs. In fact, God has set us up for success so much. Listen to this. He set us up for success so much that when Adam and Eve fell in the garden, right? When the fall of man happened in the garden, right? Remember that one of the things that God said to the serpent is that, and the woman's son will crush your offspring with the heel of his foot. And that is reiterated in Luke 10:19, when Jesus says that I have given you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and to overcome the works of the enemy. So even when man fell, God still gave us the authority. He still gave us the power. He still pronounced our authority. He pronounced our ability and our capabilities over the enemy. So allow God to be God. God is not asking you to do anything alone. God is not trusting you with things alone. He's asking to partner with you. So where you fall short, His grace is sufficient. Where you fall short, His abilities will come in. Where you are weak, His strength is perfected. So don't be scared. Dust yourself off right now. Get up, pick yourself up right now. Put on your shoes, put on your coat, and put on your success. All of those things are in the past. Isaiah 43:18-19 says, but do not look at those things of the past. Do you not perceive that I am doing a new thing? Every day God is doing a new thing. Will you partner with Him? Will you walk with Him? Will you say yes to Him? Will you be able to look at your past failures when they whisper lies to you and tell them the truth of God? That God knows the plans that He has for you. He had them when He made the earth, when He created the earth. When you were just a thought in His mind, He already had a plan for you and for humanity planned out. Allow God to be God. Remove the mountain that is in front of you, and that is yourself. That is your fear and your insecurity. God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. Power. You have power in God. You have power through God. So don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Do not let your past dictate anything to you. It's gone and it's not coming back. The only thing that's ahead of you now is your future. And God is there. He's saying, if you just move, if you just practice some faith and you move in the direction I'm telling you in, it's over for the kingdom of darkness. You are the comeback kid. You are the breakthrough champion. You are the conqueror. So that's all I came to say. And I really, really hope that y'all take that to heart. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Two walk like two out the door. Then you have magic.